What's up guys, Matt here with another Pokemon Go episode. Thank you for joining me, hope you're doing well. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these videos, and even if you hate them, you think they're boring as hell, I don't mind, that's cool, but please subscribe as well. In this episode, I'm going to talk about Unown, and I've done a little bit of research, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit, and just talk about everything that we know about Unown, with a focus on London, but I hope that this would be relevant for players in other places, in other cities as well. But first I'll tell you about my story catching Unown, because I have caught Unown. You can see it here, check it out. So I was out hunting, I think it was must have been in Roundwood Park, right? Roundwood Park, West London, getting some chikorritas, and got all my candies, and I was heading back. Got on the train and I looked at the map, and all of a sudden I saw Unown. I saw it actually pop up, and it popped up with like 29 minutes left. So I jumped off the train at the next station. I was so lucky that everything about this story is lucky. Lucky that I saw it spawn when it did, lucky that I got off the train when I did, because I got off the train and there was like 2 minutes for the next train to go back to the station where I was at before, and then go on a little bit further. I got off the train and I had maybe 17 minutes left on the spawn. Pretty much just ran, or I ran for a few minutes and then I kind of walked quickly because it's, and then I checked the map and it was in Asda, of all places. It was in Asda, which, if you don't know Asda, it's big supermarket here. Turns out that it's a 24-hour Asda, which even 24 hours stores sometimes would close on a Sunday at 4. But this one was open, and it had stayed open, and I was so thankful that I could get inside and just run through Asda like, I don't know what the security guy must have looked, because I was super sweaty, it was really hot. I had to go all the way into the middle of the store, right next to this freezer full of like frozen breadcrumbed chicken, and it spawned there, and I got it. And yeah, that was it. That's my Unown story. I caught Unown, and I was so happy about it. One thing that I've been wondering about is, how rare exactly is this Pokemon? Where does it spawn in London? When does it spawn? And does it have a biome? Is there anything we could say conclusively about it? So I did some research. I gathered all the data from all the recorded spawns of Unown in London. But we'll talk about that in a sec. Let's take a look at this map. So you can see on my map now, I'm going to record my screen so you can take a look at this. I have mapped all the spawns of Unown in London since Gen 2 launched. And the first thing to note is that there are not that many spawns, to be honest. I've mapped maybe sort of 40 spawns in total. So all these blue ones that you can see, these are all Unowns. Now the Tyrannitars I've mapped also. They're the red markers. So you can kind of see, you have a little look at where Unown is spawning in London, and what can we deduce from this. The first thing I think we can deduce from this is that there's not a great deal we can deduce from this. There is no rhyme or reason to where Unown spawns. There is no biome. It's not spawning predominantly near water. It's not spawning predominantly in areas of high activity, e.g. areas of altitude or near phone towers. It's not spawning in areas where you'd see Clefairy or Dragonites or other rare Pokemon. Places like Richmond Park, Hampstead Heath, Highgate, Greenwich is not spawning there in a pattern. So whereas if you look at spawns that I can really see, the only time we get into something close to a pattern is this kind of area here around Canary Wharf, which is kind of unusual. Made me think there's maybe something going on there, because I know that that Isle of Dogs area is an area where you do get rares spawning. It's an area of kind of interesting spawns, kind of near Greenwich, and Greenwich obviously known for things like Dragonites, and there's even been a Tyranitar that spawned in Greenwich which didn't register as a notification, so I don't have that on my map. But you can see 4 spawns around the Isle of Dogs area, but then when we look at the times, this one's at 11 a.m, we've got one at 7 p.m, one at 4 a.m, another one at 4 a.m. You know, these are not times that are really conducive for predicting when things could potentially spawn, especially when you consider that this is over several weeks. You know, this is since launch, and there's no other real patterns. You know, you're looking at areas where you'd expect there to be activity based on, you know, other rare things. Forest Hill, you know, the area has a little bit of activity. You can see some spawns around here, but it's not really to the level that you would expect, and not really in the places you'd expect if it was, you know, a proper pattern. There's nothing sort of south of this kind of area, nothing around Crystal Palace. In this area is just kind of barren. And then, interestingly, you know, you might expect Richmond. Richmond is kind of a hive of activity for everything. You know, we've had Tyranitar spawn there, Dragonite spawns there every day, all kinds of rare things spawn there, Togetic spawns there, and yet there's been very little. There's kind of one here to the west of the park, and then one here sort of east of Wimbledon Common, but nothing really on the level that you'd expect. And then same around Hampstead Heath, nothing around Hampstead Heath in terms of recorded spawns. There may have been some, you know, there are going to be spawns that I've missed that I don't have data for, but in general you can see there's nothing in this area, nothing around Highgate, Hampstead Heath at all. And you know, there's no pattern. It's not spawning near water, it's not spawning in parks for the most part, which is interesting. It's mostly sort of random kind of city areas. You know, the one I caught was in Asda that couldn't be any more city if you tried, and you know, it could be anywhere, you know. And this is the thing that makes Unown so difficult to catch. There is no way of predicting where it's going to spawn. You really just need to be right place, right time. So you need a lot of luck, even more so than any other Pokemon probably in the past, to catch it. You know, you need the kind of luck where, you know, there are spawns. You can see in central London, you know, there's been spawns around. I think there's one near Madame Two Swords. There's been spawns here, sort of near Imperial War Museum. Spawns up here. There's a spawn near Regent's Park. There was one near, you know, one near St James's. So you know, you just need to be in, you know, right kind of place, right kind of time, or you know, to live in one of these kind of outer lying areas where things kind of randomly pop up. There's no point in stressing about this. There's no point in stressing about not catching Unown. I mean, I can say that from the luxury of having caught one, but a lot of other people have caught one, because a lot of other people, there was one that spawned on a Saturday near Hyde Park that a lot of people got, and you know, there's been quite a few that have spawned sort of Canary Wharf near Greenwich, so people are going to get them, but you know, I wouldn't stress not catching them, because they are so hard to catch, they're so rare, there's nothing you can do to influence it, really, to be honest. You just need to really keep an eye out. If you're not using a map or a tracker, you're going to find it a lot more difficult to catch on. I'd say your chances reduce radically if you're not using any kind of map or tracker or the London Pogo map. When you think about it, I would say that these are probably on the kind of level of rareness as Lickitung or Chansey were initially, with, you know, when Gen 1 came out. Lickitung and Chansey were super elusive and very hard to find wild. The difference was that you could hatch those, you know, you could hatch those from eggs. For some reason you can't hatch Unown from an egg, which must be on purpose. There must be a reason for that. And I think probably the reason is that I think there's this kind of speculation that we'll get an event with Unown. I think that's probably realistic, to be honest, because when you look at how we've been in the past, rare Pokemon, when we had things like Lickitung, Chansey, Porygon, which were all rare, and you know, for some of us it took a long time to get some of those Pokemon, but then they did an event around them and they were everywhere. And I would expect something similar with Unown, especially because you can't hatch it. There must be a reason why Unown isn't in eggs, that you can't hatch it. And I think they must be preparing something somewhere down the line. Probably won't be soon. Maybe Easter, maybe after that. There's been speculation it could be something to do with the legendaries. And I think, that's probably somewhere on the money that we will get an event or something with increased spawn rates of Unown, and we'll all be able to catch more of them. So that's Unown. In a nutshell, I got one. If you guys have got one, let me know in the comments. Tell me where you found it, and I will make this map available so you can have a look, and I will keep updating it with new spawns and the time of those spawns. And it'd be interesting to hear maybe from players in other cities if you've had Unowns spawning there, if you've done any kind of research into that, or maybe if you've mapped the spawn points of your area. That would be really cool to kind of compare that. But other than that, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.